I have contacted Catfish about 4 months ago, even though I was told to not send Kerner any more money after the first time I contacted Social Catfish. Of course, I did.
Last call for passengers. Please proceed urgently.
I gave away $190,000. Where I got all this money came directly from the sale of my home in Denver.
What's up, Seekers? Welcome back to another episode of Scamfish presented by SocialCatfish.com. On today's episode, we speak to a 67-year-old woman named Catherine who met a man named Kerner through a Facebook message. Catherine fell in love with Kerner through chats and phone calls. The two were planning to meet in person and get married, but it just hasn't been able to happen due to Kerner's constant issues with his job and money problems. Catherine reached out to us to verify this man's identity after sending hundreds of thousands of dollars through gift cards and wire transfers. Let's see if we can get to the bottom of this. Real quick, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Your comment and like could help stop someone from being scammed. Let's get into it.
Hi, Social Catfish. The father of my boys, I was married to for 8 years, and then I divorced him for 25 years. I considered him AWOL. But then out of the blue, about 10 years before he passed away 3 years ago, he showed up at my door. I just got back together with him, and we were together for 10 years. And unfortunately, he passed away from Vietnam, Agent Orange, follicular lymphoma. So he really was the love of my life. At the time when I divorced him, I just had a different direction I needed to go. So it all worked out good, thank goodness. And we got to spend 10 years together again. So I'm very grateful for that time. I was not looking for any relationship anywhere. I was still grieving the loss of my husband.
After the passing of Catherine's husband, she was starting to feel alone. She received a Facebook message from Kerner and the two started chatting. Kerner was a military pilot on duty in Yemen. Catherine was in disbelief that he was even interested in her.
He just said, hello. And I said, hello. And he said, what's your name? And I said, Catherine. And he said, I will call you honey. And I'm like, oh, wow, what? He was a pilot in Yemen and working for a contractor. When we met, he was 35 and very, very handsome, really hot and sexy. His chest, on the beach and muscles. Oh my gosh. I was just, who, what? Why would you be talking to me at all? I had a really nice picture on Facebook with my granddaughter, but still. And I just went on and on about how gorgeous he was and how impressed I was with what he told me, how impressed I was with all of his traveling.
Despite their age difference, Catherine and Kerner spoke every day. The two communicated through chats and built a bond. Kerner came off as an accomplished man who worked a lot. He told Catherine that he was planning on eventually coming back to the United States.
Within weeks, he was just enthralled with me and said everything right to me to get my attention and compliments and love. I'll take care of you forever. We have nothing to worry about. I have all this money. I'll be coming home soon. Sent these most incredible poems to me and melted my heart and was the most romantic man I've ever met in my life, honestly. And I fell for them. I read every word. I cried. We laughed and cried.
After a year of chatting, Kerner was planning to come back to the United States to meet Catherine in person. He asked her to marry him. He even sent a marriage license to show her that he was serious. But things took a turn when Kerner couldn't access his accounts to pay for what he claimed was a military leave fee.
Everything was going well until our honeymoon in Paris for 2 months. But he needed a little help getting the funds together. And of course, he'll pay me back because he wanted to get married right away. He wanted me to send money to a company that is through the military somehow that makes it possible for the military to take honeymoons. And I needed to pay for that because he didn't have access to his funds, because in Yemen they didn't have banks and accounts and, all that. It was very rustic, rural, horrible place.
Catherine couldn't wait to meet this man in person. She emailed Kerner's commander right away to pay for the leave. But Catherine started to get suspicious and asked the company for more information, and they replied with this.
This is to inform you that we don't have to convince or show evidence to enable you to make payment for Steven's vacation.
The company gave Catherine 3 leave package options. One for $3,550 that would cover 2 months of vacation time. The other option cost $5,500 for 3 months of Kerner's vacation. And the last option cost $7,750. This would cover 4 months of vacation and included a honeymoon getaway for both Catherine and Kerner, so they could celebrate their marriage. Catherine agreed to pay for option C and transferred the money to the company.
Well, I guess I believed him enough to think that we were actually going to go on a big vacation. And he was always going to pay me back. He always promised me to pay everything back.
More issues came up about a month later. The leave and honeymoon was put on hold by the company after Kerner received a promotion in the military.
There was stuff going on where it was not a good time for him to leave. He was too important. And they promoted him, and the job got worse, and he had to be out on rounds and go to another base and all this. He told me he wanted to watch video games on base so he could relax and do, probably pilot video games or something for fun and listen to music and send me music and make phone calls to me. Steam cards, like $200 constantly, almost like every week. Every week. And I don't know why. Like once a week or once every couple weeks. And it seems like it was always for $200. Here's a pile. This is the pile I have. And then there's others that aren't in this pile that are the play cards, which is a lot of play cards also. A lot of these are $50 and $20 actually, but I've spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars. The play cards were more 100, were the ones that were more 200 play card, because you can go up to 200 on them. Like here's one for 200, but sometimes the store wouldn't have them that high, so I would get like 250s or something. But they are, this one says up to 200. The next one's 100, and there's 50s and 20s and all kinds. And then Google Play cards I would always get the up to 200 also, so I would always do 200 on Google Play cards, and I have a lot of these too. They're thick. That's a lot. A lot of money right there. I wish I had back.
Over the next couple of months, Catherine was back and forth from the store buying more and more gift cards. She sent more money for phones, Wi-Fi, bills, plane tickets, Kerner's trust funds. The list goes on and on. Catherine was funding this man's life that she had never met in person.
He needed to get out of a position that he applied for, that he volunteered for, and it was a dangerous mission. And I don't know why he signed for it. He needed to not go on that assignment by his contractor, because he realized later how dangerous it was going to be, and he was scared for his life, and he wanted me to pay for it. somehow involved that if he paid a fee of 6,500 or something, he would be released from that contract. So that's what I did. After that contract was paid off, basically, so he's free now and he's released. And he said, I'm buying us a house in Florida. I have a signed contract, the property address. I have a signed contract to buy a home. But I have the overhead view from Google of it. It's lovely.
Up until this point, Catherine has spent over $100,000 trying to get Kerner home, but it was finally coming to an end. She needed to pay for one last flight from Yemen to New Mexico. Kerner ensured this would be the last problem that was stopping them from meeting in person and eventually getting married.
He needs to get a flight home, and he's got a layover in London. So he ended up supposedly going to London. He only sent me one picture of him supposedly in customs with a box he's waiting to get out of London with. So supposedly in this box is some contraband that he never should have tried to cross a border with. First of all, gold bars worth like 1,400,000. I actually started getting letters and proof that they have this package that he sent me a picture. That package is supposedly still waiting in customs, and I need to send money and interest to get it out. And so what I sent to do that was $50,000 wire transfer. I have sent him 3 Apple Pro Max iPhones, either 11, 12. He wanted a 13. He's blaming the whole reason he can't come home right now is because his phone died. The first one he'd lost because he got shot in the wrist and in the calf or ankle or something, and he lost his phone. I didn't know this for a long time. He didn't tell me the reason he dropped that phone, and I had to send him another one. The second one I sent him, he used, and it quit working. It got broke. It's still on my plan. It's suspended right now, but all of his information about Bitcoin and all of his money is on there, and he needs to get a new top of the line, most expensive, Apple only, Pro Max with the highest level of whatever, giga, whatever on it. So, he can live like a king because I've always been his queen and he's supposedly my king. And then he can transfer his information from the broken phone to the new phone. Really, after all of that, I let him have it constantly and quit sending money because 2.5 years and $190,000 is not enough for him to come home.
Kerner's stories never added up and the problems never ended. He was now claiming to be stuck in London. After sending all this money, Catherine needed answers.
Then I would send 20,000 at a time, 25,000. It's all in my bank records. I even sent Bitcoin at one point, which I had no idea what I was doing, but he walked me through it. And, my heart still wants to be with him. I still want to be in his fantasy world. He's prepared for us. If he was, fake and wanted to go away, why hasn't he? I guess because he knows I have nothing left to give him. Nothing. I actually just started 2 jobs last week. I have to go to work at 6:30 in the morning for 12 hours, back to back, 3 and 4 days at a time. It's killer. Hopefully I'll survive it. But I have to do what I have to do to be responsible to myself and my family. And the biggest thing is letting down my grandchildren and my son that is still surviving. I lost a son a couple months ago.
We used all of the tools on our site, socialcatfish.com, to verify the real man in the photos. His name is Pilot Patrick. But after we spoke to Catherine, she was already aware of this. We were really concerned with why Catherine was still speaking to Kerner, even though she knew he was lying about his identity.
I can't answer it. Part of me believes him because I don't lie. I never lie. I can't lie. It's against my whole nature. And I've never experienced anything like this. And my head is in battle with my heart. My head knows better and is so pissed off at my heart.
Kerner was even using Catherine to cash bad checks.
So he sent me bad checks, 7,000, 4,000. So these checks were from other people put into my account. And they, of course, a few days later realized that's a fake check and told me, thank God, because the other fake checks, they didn't tell me this could be a fake check. We're going to hold it and see if it clears. No, they gave me the money, the 7,000 and the 4,000. And I just got a summons now where I had to explain what's been going on with the 7,000. Because as soon as it was in there, he's telling me to go to the ATM and take out $10,000.
Every story he told Catherine was a lie. He was not the man he claimed to be. The real man has nothing to do with the scam. Kerner wasn't in the military, and he never planned to marry Catherine. All of these stories were fabricated, and Pilot Patrick's photos were just used to dupe Catherine out of hundreds of thousands of dollars.
But I don't know it. I know, but I don't know until you prove to me what I don't know yet already with what I've given you. I'm desperate for the results of what you come up with so I can just move on and let it go completely forever. That's what I'm hoping for.
All of the tools and answers that we are able to find in our videos come from our search specialist and website, socialcatfish.com. You can use most of the tools we use and support our team by grabbing a membership for yourself. Stick around until the end. We'll sit down with Catherine for the first time.
I need this closure with you guys to get over it completely.
We'll also reveal Kerner's real location.
I want the truth finally after 2.5 years of this chaos.
And find out why Catherine still believes Kerner is who he says he is. Why do you continue to send this guy money? Real quick, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Your comment and like could help stop someone from being scammed. It was now time to sit down with Catherine and let her know what we had found.
Hey, Catherine, how are you today?
Very well. How are you all?
We are great. We're excited. We have a bunch of news that we found out and we want to share it with you.
OMG. Okay.
We're super excited to have you on. We understand that you reached out to us in the past, a while back, and you were contemplating us looking into Kerner. Was that because you felt like he was real?
I didn't know. I was hoping that he was and everything he said was true, but kind of part of me thought, too good to be true. So that's why I came back to you.
Catherine reached out to our team through email months ago. She ended up denying our help and went back to Kerner. After he kept asking for money, that's when she reached back out to us.
Something I want to discuss with you is all of the research that we looked into for this case, starting with the marriage certificate. We noticed it looked older, like it was from back in the day. There are certain details that didn't seem right. So we looked into it. There's a specific process that you need to go through to receive a certificate through Yemen. You would need to fill out an application to initiate this process. At any point, did you ever do that?
No, he just sent it to me and said there were witnesses there and it was his pastor at that church in Yemen.
Something else I want to discuss with you is the Bitcoin information. So we looked into the wallet ID that you sent over to us and we researched it and we found that it eventually led us to the Binance exchange. There are several different types of exchanges within Bitcoin. It just so happens that the transaction that is linked to you eventually led to this exchange. Catherine visited a Bitcoin ATM on the daily. We used our Bitcoin technology tool that allows us to identify crypto transactions. What we had found was Catherine would deposit her money into what she thought was Kerner's Bitcoin wallet. The money went to 2 other Bitcoin wallets and eventually led to Binance, which is an online crypto exchange. The scammer used Binance to exchange the funds. So something else I found that was super interesting is that image of the package that you sent over to us. Catherine sent multiple images of packages that were supposed to be sent to her. We looked into these packages. One of them we received an exact match, and we traced it back to a business website. Catherine's address and personal information was then photoshopped onto this photo of the package. Something else I wanted to touch on is the real estate agreement that was sent to you for the property in Florida. We looked into that property. What we had found was this actual property had not been sold or put up for sale within the last 12 years. So the last time it was sold was in 2010.
We were just talking about that today, about selling it to get money to bring him back from wherever he supposedly is in United Arab Emirates, he says. So
We sent you a link to track his location using one of our FU gift card links. You sent the link over to Kerner, and he clicked on it with a mobile device, and he clicked on it twice.
right, good.
He also attempted to redeem the fake gift card that we sent him. And when he did, we were able to grab his IP address, and it showed that he was in Port Harcourt. It's a city in River State in Nigeria.
OMG. Wow. Oh my God. Well, I'm just glad it's completely finally over now. Now I know what to do and not do, because I've just been his puppet the whole time. He's waiting for me to send him $200 on a coin cloud machine right now. And I'm trying to tell him, no, I want to send a vanilla card instead of a Steam card. I mean, unless this happens with you now, I don't know how I could have stopped. He had me completely.
You know, the real man in the photos is an innocent man. His name is Pilot Patrick. He has nothing to do with this, right? Yeah. Why do you continue to send this guy money?
I don't know. I've argued with him about everything. I've told him, I know you're using Pilot Patrick's thing. I'll explain everything once I get home. It's top secret stuff. I can't tell you. I work in intelligence. He always had answers and explanations, and I just wanted it to be true that much, I guess.
Catherine knew that Kerner was using Pilot Patrick's photos for months, yet she was still holding on to him coming home to her.
Where does this lead you with Kerner?
Oh, done. Completely done. I need to confront him and tell him I know what's going on now. I want him to know that I know. I don't know what you recommend. Probably just completely block now without an explanation and never, ever talk to him again would probably be the best thing to do, I guess. Save myself the grief of having another discussion with him. Because he'll just lie his way out of it. He won't admit it. He's never admitted anything wrong to me, except to say that he did start out scamming me, but now he admits that, but now he really wants to come home to me. He's trying to call again. I declined it. He's waiting for money right now. That's why he's calling me. He's expecting something to happen. We just cut off our conversation, so.
Are you going to call him back?
I'll probably have a conversation with him and tell him what's going on. Because that's how I am. I'm very open and honest, and that's what got me into this trouble. Believing everything I hear from him. But, he's not the first man that I believed everything they said. That happens. But
I'm just a little concerned because you've been sending him money and you know deep down in your heart that this is a scam. Catherine, you cannot continue to send this guy money.
With the shock of the reality that I knew was, on the horizon. Hope, trust, faith, all those things as a believer, trying to believe what he says, every word of it, and questioning him about everything. And he always had an explanation, or would put me off or change the subject or ignore me or something. So, yes, he took a lot of my money, $190,000, and spent it like a millionaire over there, I'm sure. So, and I know I'll be okay. I'm fine. Financially, I'm okay. I did start another full-time job. I work 12-hour shifts, 3 and 4 times a week, and then get 3 and 4 days off a week. So it's a very easy job. The hard part is just getting to sleep in time to get up at 4:30 in the morning. That's my biggest problem right now, and I'm fine. I have 2 beautiful dogs, a beautiful home, a beautiful grandson and son and family and everybody. So I'm well loved and still respected in the community, even though I live in a tiny village and all my friends know my story. They'll be very glad to hear I have closure now, and this is a closed book in the chapter of my crazy life. Because it's always the nice people, that go down, basically. And they know how to get us. So it's not okay. Not happy about it, but can't do anything about it now except stop, which I will.
Catherine was in the same situation as a lot of the other men and women that reached out to us. She was stuck in a cycle of sending money to Kerner. It became a routine for her. These scammers are predators. They look for people who are going through vulnerable times. We believe depression and loneliness drives people to send money even if they know the person is not really who they claim to be. Why do you think people fall victim to romance scams? Let us know in the comments section.
We did all we could to get Catherine to realize that this person was a fraud. A few days later, Catherine opened up to us about how things are going after we revealed what we found.
All right, so I realized that Kerner is, definitely a scammer from Nigeria, which is very sad for me, but I just have to let it all go and move on and stay in the highest love vibration and frequency that I can and forgive and let it go. It's really all I need to know. All the rest is details of, non-truths that I thought were true. So since they're not true, it doesn't even matter anymore, the details that I have. But it just is a big surprise. I'm really heartbroken. I ended up not really liking the guy throughout later on anyway, because of the way he acted and talked to me and treated me. And it was off on like any weird relationship or normal relationship. I don't know, but this is definitely not a relationship and not real. And just been kind of living in a dream world with him, I guess, for a while. And I'm actually still online with him. He's still saying he's going to come home and pay everything back. And I know that's impossible. That's not going to happen. So I need to now just not respond anymore. Leave it where it is. It's fine. And just close out that account completely. I don't want to talk to him anymore. I'm done. And without this catfish help, I still would be talking to him and probably still sending money. So I'm so glad I did this. I wish I would have done it earlier, like my son wanted me to. He told me 2.5 years ago he was from Nigeria, and he was right somehow. I don't know how he knew, but he did. Guess Nigeria is a big deal. So I'm going to try to find him. That's what I want to do. And all of his coworkers that are all involved in this thing, $190,000 is important to get reported and try to get some kind of justice out of it so they don't keep doing this. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm glad I could help other people. And like I said before, I just hope that the money that I sent is going to people that need help also, not just a selfish thief.
Thanks for watching another episode of Scamfish, everyone. Remember, new videos go out every Wednesday. If you or anyone else you know might be going through a scam, please send an email to sharemystory@socialcatfish.com. See you guys next week.